We got some clerics, we got some wizards, we got some rogues, got a barbarian. Yeah, we have two rogues. Look at us. We're going so well. So, last. Say what? Yep. So, on the road, kind of the long story short of last game, because a lot of stuff happened. You guys confronted the werewolf, who didn't know he was a werewolf. Now you guys have made a deal with him, made some weapons, made some silver bars to barricade him in his house just in case, and told him how to use it. And you guys are basically on the way to Lupinfang. Along the way, can't remember what else you guys did. I know you went to the graveyard. You tried to speak with Dead. Now that you had it, to the corpse in the barn, but it was too far gone, too far past. And then, yeah, you guys just traveled to Lupinfang to see what is going on with all of these were creatures along the road. You got ambushed by two drow. One of them did not get his darkness up and died fairly quickly. The other one you saw put up a black sphere, and then you guys beat him up a little bit, and then he ran away as a cat, as a tiger person. And now you actually, yeah, you guys did actually kill the lichen person, right? You did actually kill him. Perfect. So you guys, after that fight, made it to the outskirts of Lupinfang Keep. It is about an hour away, kind of in the distance. So before we go forward here, was there anything else you guys wanted to do before we got into town? So you're gonna have to hide him somehow, or bring him into town, or sleep outside. But there's nice, comfy beds. All right, so we're camping. Is that the idea? Okay. So now that you do not have your auto night watch, who's gonna take watch? Okay. So Sway first, and then Barthor. Okay. And then Uzi last. So for this, if you are going to take watch, you can go ahead and do a perception check here. So we'll start with Sway. There it did. So Sway got a 9, Satoshi an 8, Barthor 21, and let's do Uzi. We'll do them all together. Yep. I'll take a look here. Let's see. Game log. Cool. beyond 20. So with all of that, I will say for Satoshi, you are sitting on watch. Everyone's watch goes fine until Satoshi. You see more, although your perception was low. You do see the very obvious lights of those things that were on the bridge that one time that went beneath you. These little balls of light just kind of float on by, and they go from their trail because where you guys are over here, and they are going this way. So they are going past you in the distance a little bit, but they are going directly south, not along the road. Okay. And with that, your night goes relatively smoothly. And then you guys can all take a long rest on your D&D Beyonds here. And we are at the next day, the next morning. You have been here once for one day. That's a Uzi. Uzi. Okay. We can do two things as well here. I'll give you your choice of whoever you want to do this first on. I reread the spell, and it says the spell fails if the corpse was the target of this spell within the last 10 days. Not that it was he was dead for 10 days. So, if you want to first interrogate the guy on the farm, I will let you do that before we interrogate this guy. I'll give it as your choice. Yeah, because I did misread the spell. Make sure you write down your questions you just thought of so you don't forget those while you're interrogating the other guy. So the only other person that was with you was Sway. So okay. And then are you gonna do them all? Are you gonna think of all your questions at once or one at a time? Okay. So when you ask him what killed him, he just says, "Large wolf teeth, claws." Quiet. Very quiet. He says, "Wolf head triangle." Mm. You have two additional questions, regardless if he says, "Lord, no, never seen." And he says, "No, just one," and he just right back into onto the ground. So with that information, do you want to let everyone else know and think of other questions for the lycanthrope that you guys killed, or are you Yep. It wasn't a triangle though. It was this thing. Oh god. So whenever you're ready, you can cast it on him, and we can go with your first question. Okay. Oh yeah. I mean, there's not really any time frame. I don't think so. Oh, it is duration 10 minutes. And he looks up to you and he says, "Your worst nightmare." You can't hear him. The only person who can hear him is Uzi. Yep. All of you think he literally just look like he's talking to a corpse. The corpse isn't moving for you. And he just looks at you and he says, "Hmm, 'cause I felt like it." There's more than enough to deal with you. He says, what does he say when you ask him who's his master? He says, he just kind of looks at you and he says, "I am a master of one." That was the fourth question. I think you have one more. What does he know of Lord Lupinfang? He says, "I know the darkest secrets he has." And he just rolls back. Okay. I think what he just did was just bury him. Like he just made a hole in the ground and just dropped him in it. Okay. And we can certainly do that. So we are going to head on into town. Satoshi's gonna go look for ammo in a shop, which is very easy to do. So you can just grab your player's handbook and whatever the amount of ammo that you want, with however much cost it is, you can just let me know and deduct it from your sheet. What is the rest of you doing while he's going to buy that? Okay. It is still in silver form. Okay. Not many of you have specifically any sort of gold. He only has 9 gold. Yeah, he has all the silver. He has. So he had. Yeah, you. The cart had 500 gold piece worth of silver in it. He had 2,500 gold pieces in his bag of holding, 1,300 of which is with the Thieves Guild, and then I think he gave 200 to um, the guy he got the gun from, the Lycan in town. So that'll be an interesting how he's gonna use that silver. But so you're down. So you have about 1,000 gold pieces left in the bag of holding. Okay. What are the rest of you guys gonna do? Okay. Okay. So let's see. And then Sway, you said you're going to. I'm just gonna write this oil. Yeah, and you will be able to find the oil with you can find that stuff at the item shop, so you can just kind of grab that from the player's handbook, and you should be good there. So let's do blacksmith first over the tavern because I think that'll be a little bit easier. So you can go ahead and do a either we'll say survival because you're actually looking for something in a place that you have never been before here, Uzi. Oh yeah, and these things are not going to show up. Is Uzi here? Okay, you can do a okay. Uh, do a survival check, Uzi, and we can do to figure out if you can find the shop, the blacksmith, relatively quickly. Dad aggro. All right, let's go to the tavern since he has family. Just walked into the room. So, Barthor, you run and go to the tavern here. The tavern, unlike the blacksmith, is fairly obvious as you walk through just the front of the gate. You have a tavern on the left, a tavern on the right, and then there's a road straight ahead with a tavern down the road. So is there a particular one that you want? From what you see here, the two that are on the edge of town here are both about half full, kind of on the downstairs bar-ish area. Um, Down the road, you will have to come up to it, but eventually, as you kind of walk down to see which one's more full, this one looks to be like um, at pretty much at capacity. Okay. Okay. So you go and get your ale, and he says, "Oh, I haven't seen very many half orcs here." Oh yeah, just about a day or two ago, they brought a bunch of prisoners down from the that trade town down there, that Adalwulf. They just kind of strutting them right through the street here. He says, well, you see, they said they have some people down there, those merchants, those crafty merchants with their accounting. They're bringing them up here on tax evasion, but kind of the word on the street is they're into some shifty business. Do a perception check on the, or a persuasion rather. Natural one. He says to you, "Yeah, I don't know. They're into some. There's some weird stuff. I don't really want to get into that kind of stuff. I don't know." He kind of like looks around. I don't know if anybody in the castle is listening. You know what I mean? He says, "Will do, friend." Mm-hmm. Yep, and you can go ahead and deduct that from your sheet here, and you kind of go back and sit around. Do a perception check as well, because you're just kind of listening to kind of the conversation happening in town. Yeah, that's way better. So you kind of, as you're kind of sitting here, you hear some people um, talking. You hear them kind of talk about the prisoners that were coming in, and you hear them talking about nobles, and you hear them talking about a few things. What are you looking for? What are you trying to listen into in particular? The prisoners themselves. Okay. Yeah, so you hear some of them kind of recite what the guy in the at the counter says, but one of them is kind of saying, you know what, I don't think that those people are doing taxes. That's just how they got they got that one mobster. They got him on that tax evasion. I'm sure they're doing some more shifty stuff, and they're kind of talking about how they could be into some black magic and some curses, and um, they're into that sort of kind of like occulty stuff. And another person's just saying, oh, they're just crooked businessmen, and another one's saying how they think one of the guys is the potion master in the town, and he was making some uh, kind of poisons, and he wanted to um, take out the Baron here, Lord Lupinfang. And you hear kind of a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of speculation. Everyone's like, um, the gist that you get is most of the people don't believe what they're brought in on is legit. Only probably I would say like 5% of the people that you overhear are actually saying that the charges were legit. There is. Are any of the guards in the tavern? Yeah, we'll say there are a couple guards who are just like in uniform, but their uniform is clearly like off, so they're like not on shift. From where you're sitting though, and kind of what you noticed when you walked in, there are guards on the street, but there's only a couple that were. We'll say there's two guards here that are clearly off shift. Okay, and we will do that. We'll say you can take out a silver for the cost of the drinks. And while we do that, Uzi, I got to think of what I'm going to say about these guards here. Uzi, you are able to find the blacksmith fairly easily um, with your tracking skills. You obviously can tell, oh yeah, smoke. Let's go that direction. So you are easily able to find the blacksmith. So what do you do with the blacksmith here? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and you can do a persuasion check with that here. And as you kind of walk in, he'll just say, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen a turtle here in quite some time." Ooh. Yep. And he says, "Oh, for you, wait, you say silver? Where did you get this silver?" You can do a deception check on this, but keep going. Yeah, you can do a deception check, but continue telling whatever story you're about to tell here. he he says, "Boy, you should not be eating random grass around the town." And he kind of just takes the silver and he says, "Sure, I can silver that up for you here. It'll be um scroll up to my prices because it's 10% of the price. Where is the mace? Mace, 50 gold, 5 gold pieces." He tells you. So he says, "I can silver that up for you." Yeah. How much did I say that? Yeah. How much did I say that was worth? Okay. So you give him 5 gold worth of silver to do it. Okay. 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 Yeah, and he says he can definitely do that, and he says, "Yeah, you mentioned some wolves. That other crap I don't believe at all. You mentioned some wolves though. Where did you see some these wolves?" Hmm. But the Lord seemed very adamant about it being a person. Are you sure it was a wolf? Hmm. He says, "Good luck with that. Good luck with that for sure." That's a good question. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna scroll on up. Let's see. 1 pound is 50 gold, 50 coins worth of any denomination. So you said you had 25 pounds. So mark this down here too. So 25 times 50. You have 1,250 gold worth of um, no 1,250 silver pieces worth of silver. Yep. Yep. So you can deduct 5 from that, so you have 120 gold pieces worth of silver. Yep. You have a whole bunch of silver. So do a perception check here as well as you're leaving the shop. Okay. And you leave the shop and you are on the street. Uh, right. Oh yeah, yeah. He'll tell you it'll take about a day and a half. So you know Barthor's at the bar. Sway and Satoshi are at shopping in town. Okay. So with your survival check from before, you know exactly kind of where the tavern is that he was at, the inn. You sort of walked past it and saw him go in, and you enter the bar, and he's kind of sitting in the back. He just ordered um, a few drinks, and he has some guards talking to him. So after you order the drinks of them, Barthor, uh, one of the guards, this is before Uzi gets there, so one of the guards kind of gets up and talks to you, and he says, "Oh, hey, thanks for the ale. I greatly appreciate that." He says, "Oh yeah, just working the towers all night. Oh, you know how it is." And he's like, you can see him. He looks tired, and he's also like where like right under his eyes are like totally red. So he's been sitting in the bar for you know after his shift for a while. No, just freaking. Oh, he's just doing. And the other guy comes over and he's like, "Oh, just sit down." Like he's nice enough. I'm sure he'll let us sit. And they both just assume that it's okay and just sit down. And he says, "Oh, we're just guarding the tower, and we're on watch of the gate when all the monsters and all the you know how it is with the goblins and orcs and." "Oh, what's going on?" And the other one says, "Oh, those stupid, yeah, those people in the other town and the stupid." And the other one says, "Oh, it's the they're merchants. That's what they are. They're evading the taxes." And he's like, "No, I wasn't gonna say that. What about the wolves and the things in the?" And they kind of ramble, and they just kind of continue on and just ramble nonsensically. And he has looks at you and he's like, "Oh, in the dungeon." And he kind of just points over his shoulder like out the door. um, and you would assume that where they're holding would be kind of like at the castle. Kind of in this area, people kind of know that when people get arrested, they go into like the dungeon basically. So he's just like, "Oh, they're in the dungeon and they're gonna be locked away real good. Get down there and talk to some criminals. Some upstanding guy like you don't need to talk to no criminals." "Oh, you're one of those." Do a persuasion with advantage. And Uzi, roughly about this time, you probably come in and overhear that last part. Hey, look at that. So you guys, Uzi, overhear him say, "Yeah, well, we'll see. I can't obviously make any promises, but we'll see what we can do here. You seem like a good guy." And she kind of gives you a look and kind of looks at them, and she's like, and just kind of goes goes and gets some drinks and brings them over. And for all of that, when she brings the drinks over, and he's like, "Oh, look at you, a good man," and they kind of just snatch the drinks, and um, we'll say about 2 silver pieces for 3 drinks. And Uzi, You see him obviously talking to these guards. It kind of sticks out. Some drunk guards being loud, talking to an orc, a half orc. So you kind of, yeah, you blend as in everyone here. If they're big and rough and kind of like you are, they're all wearing armor. So you're like, who's this guy? That's a little weird. So now you have a turtle next to you as well. So it's also doubly weird. And they kind of like look at Uzi and he's like, you're a turtle. I think Uzi is still getting yelled at by parents. You're at the table with uh, Barthor, and he just introduced you, and they both kind of looked at you and said, "No, you're a turtle." He's like, "Oh yeah, I love turtle. You have to teach me how to swim and make those necklaces." And he kind of points to the flowers that are like everywhere on you. So he's like, "Are you?" He's just kind of shooting the breeze with the guards. They agreed that they don't know how or when or if they're going to make any promises for that, but they said that they could take you down to speak with the prisoners that they just brought in. Okay. You two shopping. What are you guys doing? Are you taking your stuff and coming back to the bar, or what are you guys doing? Okay. Okay. So as you guys are talking at the bar, eventually Sway comes in and kind of sits and joins you guys while not Uzi, Satoshi. Before any of you guys go over there, he tries to look for the prison area, the dungeon. So you go up to the castle itself, and as you approach the castle to where the dungeon actually is, Satoshi, there is quite a few guards present. It's just like the place is crawling with it. Barricades up, and when you get close to the keep itself, guards kind of stop you and be like, "Yep, what's your business here?" Do a persuasion check. He says, what can be in here that you need with your investigation? Why don't you go over there? You think someone who evaded taxes murdered one of those people?" And they kind of look over to the other guard. He says, "Oh, how nice." He says, "Hey, I'll tell you what. We'll get you down there for." He kind of looks over to the other guard, and they kind of just nod. And he says, "I'll tell you what. How about 5 gold pieces? We'll bring you down there right now." Okay. And you have 5 gold pieces on you. I hope so too, since you just told him. Okay. Yep. So he says, okay, and he kind of puts it in his pocket, and the two guards kind of say, "All right, just this way here," and they take you down to the dungeon and do a perception check as you're going down here. You kind of leading up to the castle and kind of coming down to the dungeon. Perception. Ooh, look at that. Double 20s in a row. You do notice, like, as you're going into the dungeons, it started with just 2 guards, but then like 3 guards show up, and, like 5 guards show up, like total, like 5 guards in total, and then there's like 7 guards following you, and you kind of, by the time you get down into the dungeon, um, they kind of point to a cell and be like, "How does this look?" And he kind of points to the cell and he says, "Was this the guy that you were looking for?" And he kind of just points into one, and it's not the guy. And we move to the next one. He's like, "How about this guy? How about this guy?" He's like, "How about this guy?" This is the guy that you actually drop the vials off to. Okay. And he says, "Very good." He opens the door and he says, "Right this way." And you walk right in. He shuts the door, locks it, and he says, "Just so you know, bribing is illegal in this town." And they just walk out. He just says, "What was that?" He says, "Well, you found me." Um, yeah, because this guy's older. I forgot what his accent was for a second. He says, "Well, you definitely found me." And he kind of chuckles and he's like, "So you just got thrown into jail, and that's your biggest worry here." He says, "Yeah." he he kind of chuckles and he says, "Well, maybe so, but I think I think everyone in this dungeon here is probably not getting out to see the daylight again." He says, "Yes, and yes, unfortunately." He says, "I consulted with some other people in the town, and we found that it could possibly be uh, leftover. How do you say? Uh, he says this could be leftover residue from uh, just a curse." Um, Typically, he kind of goes into like some explanation of how magic works, and he's like, "Well, when certain conditions happen, like if you cast a spell and the spell dissipates, it'll leave kind of like a residue like in the air. That's typically um, something that only like mages can see, and this is something that is just black and dead, like it decayed, as if something uh, like came off, was on a body and this like came off." And he kind of explains to you like we kind of theorized with like the animal attacks that this could be a shapeshifter of some kind, but um, we haven't seen any shifters in this area for a while, so they think that it could be um, either changelings, doppelgangers. It could be some form of shapeshifter like a lycanthrope. Um, but he basically says, yeah, so when after these changing people um, sort of change, the old body, like werewolf hair, kind of drops off and gets infused into the ground and kind of decays. But it's not like a normal decay because it's like a magical curse effect, and we think it's that. He says, "A heart. There's quite a few potions that could require a heart, but no, we didn't really anticipate any sort of hearts in this ritual. Why do you ask?" Hmm. Yeah, he kind of like scratches his head. He's like, without my recipe book, I don't really remember what potions take a heart, but I don't know. I'll have to think on it some more. Maybe I'll come up with it. We'll kind of talk. He'll kind of like tap on the wall of the cell, and he's like, "Well, I'll kind of talk to some potion friends here and kind of see what's going, see what we can think of." He says, "Don't worry, I've tried." And he kind of puts his two fingers up, and he kind of just makes some little fireballs kind of spin around, and then he kind of sends it to a wall, and it kind of hits the wall and dissipates, and he sends it to the bars, and like the second it hits the bars, it dissipates as well. He's like, "Yeah, if I could get out of here, I probably would have already. Something about these cells, they're very weird. It disrupts the magic field here." And he okay, and you can do a persuasion check then. You hear a door open and someone yell, "Shut up!" The door shuts. He says this, and he just like lays in bed, and he just like lays there. He's like, This is about it." And the second you say that, he just like rolls his eyes and just like rolls over away from you, and he's just like, ugh. So the rest of you sitting in the bar, so the three of you are sitting at the bar with these two guards, just chit chatting away. They're shooting the breeze, telling you all about, oh yeah, we were up on the walls, and there's this time where, and he kind of tells you like this fantastical story where he like defeated like a legion of, uh, uh, just a legion of soldiers, him and his buddy, just them two, and the whole grandiose. Oh yeah, we whipped those things butts, and we sent them back where they came from, and it's obviously like a total BS, but he wants to show you how badass he is and stuff. That kind of story, and you guys are just kind of sitting in the bar listening to them, unless you guys want to do something different. Yeah, he kind of stopped mid-story, and he's like, "Oh, prison? What prison? No, yeah, the jail. What was about the jail again?" He's like, "Oh, we're gonna take him to the jail, or we can." "Oh yeah, you're one of those guys." And they said, "Yeah, we can. No promises, of course. We'll take you over there." They're both about Barthor's size. They're pretty big guards. Also, do you guys care? Just saying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. What are you trying to get from them specifically? Any sort of like actor feat sort of stuff, or like what are you trying to do? Okay. All right. Yeah, they could. You can kind of after just kind of talking to them, they'll they pretty much tell you anything that you want to know because they're drunk and they don't really care. So yeah, they tell you about their families. Yeah, and they tell you about their families. None of them are guards. They do say like their brothers are guards in other cities, but they pretty much they're stationed here alone. They say they love it. They're from here and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of good stuff. Oh, and he says, oh, it's pretty much just a big hole. And he says, the other one says, oh yeah, you just kind of go down under the keep, and it's probably as big as the keep itself. And they kind of just they tell you like the very general layout of it, that it's fairly large. It's as big as the keep itself. It's under the keep, and they tell you like, oh yeah, well, it's probably like 200, 500 keys. There's a lot of cells down there, and they kind of just say, oh yeah, there's that key to the front door, and then there's the one that does the electric switch to move the cell doors, and they kind of just tell you about the like the cells are all automated. They're all run by electricity and not magic, and they seem oddly very proud of that. And they say that all of these cells are anti-magic locked, and they all are, it's fairly like going down there and being stuck there is like the last thing that you want to happen, kind of deal. But he tells you like basic layouts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, what a great scenario to be stuck in for the rest of your life. Oh, this place is so well secured, you don't find any rats. the cell the cellmate says talk to the wall, shut up. No, he says, what time is it? Oh, 10 hours. 10. What time is it? Yes, 10. About 10 hours. He says, "Oh, yeah, most likely. Yeah, most likely. Yeah, at that time, he'll kind of look out around and look out the window. He's like, oh yeah, the supervisor's. Well, yeah, he'll be in bed. That'll be no issue." He kind of says, well, where are we next week or tonight? And he kind of looks at the other guy and he says, I think we're working the wall again tonight. He says, you can come to the front gate. We'll meet you. Okay, you can do another silver piece, or yeah, yep, two silver pieces for drinks for the five of you. He says, "Oh, you're on a ship. Tell me about your ship." And he says, "Oh, yes, we were interested in sailing at one time. Well, seasick, we just became guards, and they kind of just ask you just random questions about like sea life and." He says, "Oh, that seems so much more exciting than what we did." Yeah, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we fought a dragon once," and you're like, he says, "Oh, it was super fun. It was the wings and the breath and the nails." And they say, "Hey, yeah, we can go defeat a dragon together." And these two guards' names. Um, technically, you didn't ask, but I assume that at some point during the time that you guys were just kind of sitting here, you would have gotten their names. And their names are not that paper. It is Manny and Sylv. They tell you. Okay. Yep, and it's about this time. You're probably about noonish time because uh, you spent the night outside. You screwed around in town, got all the items that you need, spoke with the guards. So I'll say, yeah, it's probably about. I'll say it was about dinnerish time. So you guys kind of just uh, talk to the guards for as much as they can. They'll eventually leave and kind of go to bed before they have to take their shift. And is there anything else you guys want to do before, I guess, going to sleep for the night, besides talking to the guards? Okay. Not yet. Yep, you lost 5 gold, and you still got thrown in jail. And you have your armors, but not your weapons. But you have everything else. Just yeah, because it was kind of known that they were going to throw you in jail. So at some point, if you were going to talk to this guy, they would have taken everything. Yep. So you have all your stuff, just not any of your weapons. Yeah, and and they push 2 trays underneath the cell. They kind of open the little slat and push 2 trays in, and they say, "Shut up, eat." And they totally ignore you and they just keep walking. He says as he's walking away, "Yes, one of those are yours," and he just keeps walking. So he says, "Yes, we get food twice a day." And he just he gets up and grabs a tray from you, and the other one is just still there with you, and he just kind of just eats on his bed, and he just says, "So you actually thought you were gonna get out of here?" And he kind of just nods. So you guys, the rest of you guys, rest up for the rest of the day. If needed, you can take a short rest, which I don't think any of you actually did anything that's worthwhile in that regard. So you guys are up about. Nope. Right. So once a day. Yep. So we'll say it's about 9 o'clock at night. Do you guys want to see the guards at this point? Since I know that's kind of on the to-do list. Okay. Okay. And everyone's going. Well, the other two that are available. Okay. So you guys walk to the front gate, and it's a little dark, but you can see that roughly there is about 5 guards or so kind of sitting on the top of the wall at the front gate. And they kind of look down at you and he says, "Hello, citizen. Is there something you need?" It's a voice that you kind of don't recognize, but they kind of just they address you and they ask you what's going on. He says, looks around and he says, "Where's Manny?" And he says, "Uh, he went down to do a patrol. I think he'll be back in 10 minutes." He kind of waited out, comes back from patrol. And the guy that addressed you says, "One of the citizens wants to speak with you," and he kind of points down at you. And he says, "Who?" Okay. Did they say what they wanted? And he kind of just says, "We're not gonna butt into your business. We told you before. Don't have any friends come up to the damn wall again. Just go down there and go just deal with it." And you see him you just hear him someone just kind of chew him out, and he eventually jumps down. Well, go down a ladder, not just jump down, but he comes down and he says, "All right, citizens, that was quite fun. Is there something that you needed from me specifically here?" Uh, no, not really. I remember getting off shift and I remember waking up. He, he says, "No, okay, yeah, yeah. I guess I can help you out with that. Was there? What did you need help with?" He kind of says, I don't know. That's a pretty secure place. I'm not sure they're gonna let just some people, even if you are." He kind of points to the letter, and he says, "Even if you are helping out the Lord here, I'm not sure they're gonna let anybody into the dungeon right now." Uh, and he kind of says, "Okay, we can definitely try it." He kind of points down to the keep. He says, "Just go speak to the guards at the keep. They'll be able to uh, they'll be they'll be able to help you better there." And he kind of just nods and he says, "Anything else that you guys need?" And he says, he kind of like gives you a look and he's like, "Is there something on your mind?" And he says, "Oh, do a persuasion check." Seems like this happens a lot. So you kind of say that, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I say a lot of things when I'm drunk. I have." He kind of looks up, and he's like, "You can see the boss that I'm dealing with." He's like, "What did I say? What did I say? I'm going to help you with here today?" And he kind of like scratches his neck, and he's like, "Okay, let's." Looks up to the wall and kind of looks back at you guys, and he's like, "Okay, well, let's just get away from the wall here. I'll see what we can do." He seems to like hurry you guys away, like he wants to get away from his boss, but um, he does lead you out. He does lead you over to the keep here, and he does say that he tells the guys at the gate that, "Hey, I promise these guys I'll help them. We'll just kind of speak with the prisoners real quick. It'll be 5-10 minutes, and after a very argumentative session with the guards, he comes back and he says, "Okay, listen. In order to get down there, they're going to want to take all your weapons, and they're just going to have you speak with the guy for 5 minutes, and then you have to leave." Anybody? Crickets? Crickets? Yep. So if you're gonna go down there, he's gonna take it from you. So who wants to go? Okay. Okay. So Who are you leaving it with? Because yeah, are all three of you going down there? Okay, which two? Because Barthor's going. Uzi wants to go. Yeah. Okay. So everyone gives their weapons to Sway. And yeah, Sway, you're handed 15 different weapons, and um, actually, yes, for the time being, Sway, you cannot be surprised. Oh wow, you have a 19 strength. Good God. Oh, kids are so cute. All right. So let's see. Uh, you can have advantage on your initiative rolls, and you can't be surprised, Sway, for the next until you get the weapon given up again. Yes, because if you do need that, that'll be very bad. But you guys give all your weapons. The two of you give your weapons over to Sway, and you head on downstairs and kind of just start strolling through prisoners. And they kind of just say, "All right, like quickly, which one is it?" Yeah, you can roll a perception check. Do you know who you're looking for in particular? Okay. Yeah, do ahead and do a perception then down here. Both of you can do one separately. Okay. As you guys are kind of just strolling along, you guys don't really know who the hell you're looking for. Eventually, you do see Satoshi, though. He kind of the guard that you got from the wall, Manny, looks over to the other guard and he says, "Yeah, you try to bribe a guard." And he just like Manny just like slaps his face and he's just, "Oh my god." The guard, kind of the one in the back that arrested him and tossed him in the cell, kind of like pulls out the scroll and he says, "Looks like he's part of those other five that got taken in here. They're set to be, looks like they're set to be executed on the full moon here." All right, you can do a persuasion check here. Okay, he says, the guy in the cell with him just says, oh my God, can you just execute me now if he doesn't leave the cell?" So the guard says, uh, I'll see what I can do. And the guard that arrested him leaves, and the guard from the wall, Manny, just says, "All right, listen, we got 5 minutes here, so if you have any questions for these guys, like let's make it quick so we can get out of here." Oh, are you speaking to Satoshi or the other guy? All right, he says they're claiming tax evasion. Um, the merchants in Adalwulf have a special exemption where we pay less taxes. I think they just are using it as an excuse. They're just using it as an excuse to arrest us. And he kind of like shrugs his shoulders and he just says, "Well, it was very very convenient that they arrested us right after you guys showed up. He points to Satoshi. He showed up in my shop and gave me this crap, and now we're here. And he just says, I was. Ooh, what was that? Oh, that was a music bot? What the hell happened there? He says, yeah, we're thinking about it, and the guy, he taps on the wall again. The guy next to me is the other alchemist in town, and the only potion that we think of that can be made from a heart was the guy actually missing his heart? And he says, yeah, the only potion that we can think of that actually used a heart is the. No, I should have pulled up this potion beforehand. Yeah, but I actually. He says the only potion that we can think of that this makes is uh, they call it a blood lycanthrope antidote, and he says yes, it's a potion used from the blood of lycanthropes. Typically, we just need the blood for it, but we think that they're trying to make a either like a stronger potion or uh, something of like that with the heart itself. We think that's kind of overkill, but that could be the reason. That could be what they're using it for. Out there, just nothing but those wolves that are gigantic, can't be pierced with swords, can't be shot with guns, uh, and they kind of just say, "Yeah, we've been in that town for a long time. We've never heard anything like this." And then all of a sudden, the property damage and the killing of that cow, and then the person died. It's just like that. Oh, he says we've the only time we've ever heard of a lycanthrope was there that one merchant. The other one speaks up and says, "No, he was the smith. He was the one that was just across the way there in town." He's like, "Oh yeah, the gunsmith. He mentioned seeing some wolf on the road when he was coming back from Lupinfang, and he tried to shoot it, and then nothing happened. And uh, then after that, some people in town just occasionally saw this weird wolf creature around Adalwulf, but it was kind of in the north side, and sometimes it was in the south side, and sometimes it was on the farm. Actually, a lot of the time it was on the farm. Actually, yeah, the property damage and happened on the farm. The cow died on the farm, and then the farmer died." He says he got the prisoner from the town. Kind of looks at the guard, and he says, "So." And the man, he was just like, what do you want me to do? Like I'm supposed to be working the wall here." And you hear a door open, and it's the other guard kind of slowly walking back towards you guys. Are you gonna do anything else while this guard's walking back? So the a register. He the other guard gets to you guys now, and he just says, "All right, yes, there looks like because of he is working for the the if I can even speak, because he's working for the Lord, we're gonna get him out. If he commits any other crimes, he's going to be on the chopping block with." He kind of points to the other criminals, and he just says he's going to be on the chopping block with these guys. So he cannot commit any more crimes in here. And you would notice that he's wearing the same stuff as the sergeant that's guarding the body on the farm. So he is not like a captain, but he is probably like the supervisor of the shift that's going on here. And he says, I completely understand that, but he holds out this paper to you, and he says, if you look right here, and he points to it, and what he points to, and he also says this to you. He says, if you look right here, it says, uh, by order of Lord Lupinfang, bless you, whoever that was. By order of Lord Lupinfang, these prisoners cannot leave. They are to remain here and to be executed on the full moon. He thinks about it, and it is. Where is my calendar? Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 2 weeks. And you're on 3 days. You're 2 weeks and 3 days in from the last full moon, so about a week and a half. So he tells you, a week or so. And he says, "All right, let's go." And he opens the door, and he has his hand on his sword as he is, and he pulls Satoshi out, and he's just like staring down the other guy, and shuts the door and locks it. And then he okay. and and the guards all lead you out, and as you guys leave and you get buzzed out and you walk through the front door, the supervisor just says, "All right, this one is uh, working with the Baron, so we need to get his equipment back." And you have all your stuff back. You have all your weapons, so you can put that back in your inventory. And I assume Barthor still carries you outside before he drops you. Okay. So if um, Uzi, if you want to do anything else before you, excuse me, before you leave. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I give you an opportunity here. So you're able to leave. You make it outside, and you can put Satoshi on the ground. But you do get outside. It's probably been 20 minutes, even though he said 5. And you're outside now with Sway. It's the 4 of you together. And as you do that, the other guard says, "Listen, I need to go back to my shift." I will say, "That was we're even with the drinks. Thank you for that, but I need to get back on duty." He says, "Possibly," and he just kind of he goes back to the front gate here. The one prisoner that was there, that was in the cell, he wasn't bitten. Wow, brutal. Just as bad. About to say, he's like, I'm glad you added that last part because you're literally standing outside of the citadel here. So when you say stab him, they like look over, and when you say with your poetic words, they're just like kind of give you like a furrowed eyebrow. Okay. Yeah. Does anybody know the silent spell? So you guys do know as well that it's about we'll say like 10 o'clock at night right now. Your single third level spell. That's the killer right there. What are we doing? Okay. Okay. Which one do you go to? The busy one or the other one of the other two? Okay. So everyone's going there. Okay. I- yeah. That's very brutal. All right. So we go back to the inn, the busy one. And this morning, or this evening rather, it is not as busy as it was before. It is, um, from when you guys went in, it's about half as busy downstairs. But of course, it is late at night, so some of the patrons could be sleeping. But you guys do enter the bar. It is about half as full as before. Is anybody going to go straight upstairs? Or are we all talking to the bartender? What's happening when you guys enter? Okay. It is very difficult for you. Sorry, what were we going to do, Sway? Okay. Okay, you can do a perception check here then. And then Uzi, what are you doing? Okay. So the three of you go up there while Sway, I guess Sway does come with you as well, but she is not talking to the bartender directly. Um, I'll keep that in mind. It's very loud in here, even though it's half full. But you guys speak with the bartender. Satoshi, you say you're smiling. It is very difficult not to smile with a rope in your mouth. So you guys go up and speak with the bartender. And what do you ask him? He says, "Hey, I remember you from this morning. I'm just about to get off my shift here." No, no, no. Unfortunately, I still just a. He kind of just waves his hand, but he just says, "Still just a bunch of the um, stuff from before. They think that uh, they're not exactly tax evasion people, but that should have been probably obvious. It seems to execute a bunch of tax evasion people. I don't know. That must be evading a lot of taxes, if you ask me." No, he just kind of says, it's just I don't know. They're probably involved in something, if not tax evasion. I don't know. They could be, yeah, I don't know, smuggling. They could be, sex traffickers. Who, with these merchants, who know? That anything to make them a quick buck. You know what I mean? All five of you guys. I'll say he kind of pulls up a chart and he says, the only biggest suite that we have, it will fit probably about 7 people. The other rooms are booked. So that'll be about 2 gold. We'll say, we'll say, because I like you and you're driving some good business here. And he points over to a table that has 4 or 5 guards sitting at it. They look all off shift. He says, since we're getting a little bit of the other type of people that you seem to like in this town, I'll say we'll save 1 gold for the night for this room. Okay, well, I will definitely get on that. And he slides you over a key, and he says, "Go up 4th floor, second room on your right." And he kind of gives you some directions to where your guys' room is. Uh, 5 guards, 2 silver. Okay. He says, "Feel free to come back. If you come back in the next 5-10 minutes, I'll be here. If not, they'll have a new bartender for the night for you. You're gonna have a good night." And all of you guys go upstairs, or Sway, you staying at the bar? What's going on? And Uzi? Yeah, with your perception check, it's very difficult to hear kind of what's going on. You hear some of the people talking next to you. Um, they're talking kind of just about how they are excited that they finally get a chance to get out and see the town again, and it's been a while with a busy work week, but they're excited to uh, you know go shopping for some nice clothes for the ball that will be at the end of the month, held in the castle. um, and it's just kind of like day-to-day stuff. Okay, so we can do another long rest for everyone here, and we can do a perception check for everyone, I think, except for Satoshi, who is literally stuffed in a closet. Okay. Uzi, perception check. Okay. Wow, you guys are doing great. So as you guys are kind of just laying in bed, and Satoshi, you're trying to sleep in this closet. It is not, but you hear a voice next to you and says, "I think clothes are supposed to be in here." I have a no response from Satoshi for that. Okay. So you. Okay. 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 Oh, I heard someone's voice. No worries. I'm gonna pull up one thing here. 1 second. Okay. Make a charisma saving throw, Satoshi. Okay. You see, as you're trying to sleep, you feel a very cold breeze come across you, and you feel this energy come into your body. Are you still trying to sleep? I mean, he is technically gagged, so he can still make some noise, but okay. And you kind of just hear over your shoulder again. He's just like, "Hmm, it's very, very, very odd. Yes, it is not waking you up because it is not, surprising you. But this is something that you can barely hear. Like Satoshi can barely hear it, and it's right next to him. Okay, you kind of like look around. You're stuck. Of course, you're stuffed in a closet. It's a little dark. Do you have dark vision? Okay. You kind of look around, and there's a faint glow, but it looks like even from whatever it is, you're kind of like craning your neck backward and looking around this closet, and whatever it is, it's a glow that's coming from behind you. Talk to it telepathically. You have some. Oh, nice. Okay. So what do you say to it? And it says, "Hmm, you talk. Hi." That is a very interesting name. I've known several people named Satoshi. He says, or it sounds like a female voice. It says, yes, what you can do is you're going to feel a very cold touch. Just whatever happens, just let it happen. Oh, very sure, very sure. So what it says is in your mind, or not in your mind, just next to you. He just says, so what we're gonna do is we're just going to make you feel very cold for like a brief second. It's not gonna hurt. Just not gonna hurt a bit. Um, and then what we're gonna do is just go out of this room, down the hall, down 3 stories, and we're gonna go to room 105 and make a charisma saving throw unless you choose to fail. Okay. 1 second here. 1 second. Yep. Because at first it was just going to move through the closet and make some noise, but you are, yeah, it makes it so much better that he's possessed by a ghost now. So, you will. This is about 3 hours into your long rest, where he is currently being possessed by a ghost. Um, yes, yes. Everyone is asleep while this is happening because you didn't roll very high on your perception checks. Have fun. So, Satoshi, I will say since Barthor would be somewhat aware because of his axe, do another perception check. Okay. Yep, with your 18, because that one rolled. Oh, that was Satoshi. Never mind. So for your 9, uh, Satoshi, you with no control of your body, very easily slip out of these ropes that um, were tied by Barthor. It seems that you have a extra, second sense about these things, and you very easily like just untie and you just let yourself out of the closet, and you leave the room. You kind of stealth around. Do a stealth check here, actually. Okay. So since your stealth check meets Barthor, you hear a door open and shut. You kind of look up and look around. Where the entrance to the room you don't see, but you don't see kind of, if you think we're a hotel, kind of like a hotel room, where you kind of go straight and there's a bathroom to your right and the main room ahead of you. You're in the main room and you don't see any doors open or shut or anything. So the closets aren't open or shut. But so from where you're sleeping, you would have to actually get up. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So you go to the main door. You don't see anything. All the lights are off. Obviously, the light is coming out from underneath the door from the hallway. And by the time you hear the door shut, you look under the door. You don't see anything, any shadows or anything. So you go to open the door and look out, and you kind of see Satoshi just round a corner. Okay. Are you planning on doing anything? Okay. So Uzi does not wake up, but Sway, are you going to get up and follow? Okay. So you guys attempt to follow. You are a little bit behind now, but you can hear kind of doors opening and shutting in the distance. And you kind of go down, open the door down to the stairwell, and you can kind of see him. He's not really dressed. He just has whatever casual clothes he had on when you tied him up. So you see him kind of just going down the spiral staircase, going down, and he's just going downstairs. And he continues just going downstairs. He doesn't acknowledge you. Where you are now, there's no like rocks or anything. The building's like kept up. Do you have anything that in your like bag or anything that you can throw at him? Okay, he is currently down like two or three flights of stairs, so you would have to like run down the stairs, and he is still a bit ahead of you. Okay. All right, you can do a strength check, like a strength attack roll. All right, you kind of throw your torch, and it does miss. It kind of like clinks off the stairs, and you just hear a loud thud, 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 as it kind of like drops down and just hits some of the metal railing going down. And at that point, you see kind of Satoshi stop and kind of look up at you, and you see his eyes are sunken black over, and you can't see like anything on his face. Let's find out. The target is incapacitated and lose control over its body. What does capacitated do? You cannot take actions or reactions. Does it take your action? Okay, you can. I'm gonna check right now. Features and traits. Do, 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 do. Observant, telepathic. Yep, it doesn't have any sort of action or anything. You see, you can. And you, okay, so the his body doesn't stop either. He kind of just looks up at you, and then he keeps going as this telepathic speech is happening. So you continue to run down, and then I think Sway said she was already running down the stairs here. So let's see, who's down three flights? Your movement speed is 40, and Sway you can also bonus action dash here with 30. So I would say by the time they reach the first floor door, You see, you're kind of at the top of one flight of stairs, looking down at him. He walks through the door, and the door shuts in front of both of you. And you hear just kind of some metal, you know, jiggling and janking on the other side of the door. All right. You run up and push the door, and you just slam on the door, and you just kind of bounce off. So if you, all right, go ahead and do a thieves tool check, a lock picking check here, and you do see kind of there is like a very small, you know, like those thin slat windows in the doors. You do see Satoshi kind of mess with the door on the other side, and as you ram into it, he just kind of walks off. Yep, Dex plus proficiency if you're proficient in thieves' tools. Okay, and you kind of get in. You kind of get in there, and it does not open. So you can do an. All right, you can do an athletics check with advantage if you guys want, or separately. Up to you. Okay. Barthor, athletics check. Yeah. So you guys, after trying to pick the door, you just screw it, and you just kind of throw your broken tool down, and you guys both just kind of ram the door with your shoulders, and the door just kind of breaks open. The door that it breaks open to is actually the bar area. So the bartender kind of looks up at you, and he just says, "Hey, what are you guys doing to my door?" But you mean like the guy with the suit with the he went that he kind of just pointed that way, and you can see Satoshi at the end of the hall just round a corner as he points. Okay. All right, you follow him, and you do end up at the room. And Satoshi here, as you enter the room, you kind of just put your hand on the doorknob, and you feel something very cold. The door gets very cold, and you simply just use your strength that kind of just wells up underneath you that you have never felt before, and just take it and just break the door off. This metal handle you kind of just grab. The handle gets very cold and covered in ice in about a second, and you just snap the door off. You and you hear the ghost kind of laugh, and you kind of just open the door with your hand here, and you enter the room, and you hear someone say, "Oh, what was that?" Did someone just beep out? Yep, Sway's gone. No. So you hear a voice say, "No, no, what was that?" Barthor, you since you're like running and you see him enter this door, and you kind of pull the door open, and you hear the voice again say, "Oh, oh, who are you? What are you guys doing in my room?" Do you say that telepathically to the guy? Okay, are you gonna try to grab him and move him from the room here? Okay. And before you can kind of stop him, do a Both of you do a athletics slash acrobatics check. Both of you. Okay. So Satoshi, as you move forward, because you totally ignore Barthor and this guy, and you walk over to this guy, and you just reach out and touch him. And as you touch him, Barthor grabs you and rips you away. Hello, you're back. So it's all good. It's all good. So what had happened while you were away that very short amount of time? You got into the room. Satoshi walked up to the door, literally broke the handle off, froze the door handle and broke it off. Opened the door, and there's the guy who was in the room said something. He just asked who you guys were. Satoshi didn't say anything. Just walked up and grabbed him, and Barthor grabbed him and pulled him away from the guy. And then Satoshi said to Barthor, "Oh, I didn't like that." And you hear the other guy's voice. He just says, What are you talking about, ghost? Just get out. Just what are you doing in my room?" And you hear him like flick these uh, uh, lights on that are next to him, and he puts on a pair of glasses, and he just says, "What are you doing in my room? Where are the guards? Get out of here!" And he's just like screaming at you guys. Yes, you can, except Barthor has you. Yes, so you can technically move, but this guy is like yelling at you now. So do you guys leave? And he says, "Who am I? You broke into my room. Guards! Guard!" He just starts yelling for the guards. You don't have any choice in the matter. Barthor, what are you doing? As he's yelling for the guards. Same with Sway. He said, "What? We can hear you, Sway." So what are you doing as he's screaming for the guards? This guy. Okay. So we. Okay. Okay. So as you guys begin to leave, do a perception check. Okay. Okay. And Sway perception check if possible. There we go. Stupid P words. There we go. So Barthor and Satoshi, Sway, you're in the kind of commotion. You don't really take a look at this, but as you guys are leaving and literally pull Satoshi out of this room, you do see that there's a there's a set of armor next to his bed with some weapons. Hey, you're back. So, as you guys are leaving, you see a set of armor and some weapons next to his bed, and the armor is very decorated. And as you guys kind of pull out, you aren't able to see what the decorations are or how many there are. But he has a decorated set of armor, um, like a full plate armor, and then a couple weapons. And you kind of drag him out. And as you pull him out and pull him into the hallway, the guards here kind of say, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing in this room?" And they kind of grab Barthor and Sway, and kind of just pull you guys out into the hallway. And they shut the door, and they ask, "What happened to the hand? What are you guys doing in the room? What happened to the door?" He tells you, The fact that you broke into a general's room thinks you're gonna, and you think you're gonna get breakfast in the morning. I don't think so. And he kind of just grabs you and kind of just starts shoving you out into the main hallway. And when you kind of get out, and he kind of continues to shove you three out, the bartender actually stops and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! What are you guys doing to my guest there?" And the guards just say, these guys just broke into the general's room and they scared the general half to death, and he started screaming for the. And the bartender just kind of holds his hand up, and you see um, Barthor and Sartoshi. Are you proficient in Arcana? Okay, Sway, you are proficient, right? Okay, so you see his hand kind of go up, and you see kind of like these wisps of energy come out, and they kind of wash over the guards, and the guards just say, "So these three people just broke into the general's room, and we're gonna need to question them to see kind of what's going on here." And the bartender kind of just waves his hand, just says, "Hold on, just a second. They just kind of came charging down here. I think as the half orc was saying down the hall there. I think they're just sleepwalking." And you see him kind of wave his hand again, and more kind of like magical wisps kind of come out and wash over the guards again, and you see them kind of with a dazed look, and he just says, "Oh, he was just sleepwalking." And he lets all three of you go, or I guess two of you, because Barthor is still holding Satoshi. He kind of just lets you two go, and they just say, "Yeah, just you guys stay away from that room." And the guards just very awkwardly kind of just turn, and one of them walks back to the general's room. The other two just walk out. And he kind of like waves you guys over to the bar, and he says, what the hell happened?" Possessed by what? What did it say to you? What did it look like? Uh, he still whispers it. He says, "What did the voice sound like? What did it kind of like feel like?" And when you when you say female, he kind of puts his hand to his head, and he says, "So the one thing that people when they stay here, we typically don't advertise it, but people in the town know that this place is haunted." And he kind of says in a low voice, he says, um, "So typ- typically it revolves around the room," and he points down the hallway. Um, but he says, "Typically you don't hear anything activity from your floor. Can you kind of elaborate on more of like what happened?" You said you think you attack him. What do you mean you think you attacked him? So you touched the door and it made you explode, and then you tried to touch the general. And he kind of looks at you and he just says, "Let's let's go see the general real quick." And he explains to you that um, usually that no one he hasn't heard of a possession, but just as the folk stories go, he is a bit concerned for his um, highest profile guest. You guys walk over to the door and you speak to the guard. He says to you, "Yeah, this is the general who's here is Lord Lupinfang's personal guard." So you guys go to his room. You speak with the guard. The guard, still under this spell, kind of steps aside and lets you in. And as you walk in, you hear kind of just a breeze kind of pass through the room. And as you start calling out to the general, and you say, "General, General, are you here?" And he flips on a light, and the window's open. He is not in his bed. The armor is still there. One of the weapons are gone. Yeah, you are on the first floor, and the window's open. And you ask the guard, "You're going through the window?" Okay. So you see Sway just run across the room and jump through the window and out into the hallway. You ask the guard where the general went, and the guard, still like in a dazed look, he just says, "Oh, I don't. The guard's in his room. I haven't heard him peep in the past couple minutes." Do you say anything else to the guard, Barthor? You don't know his name. Are you going to ask the guard what his name is? He says, "Yes, the general's his name is Labor. General Labor. He is second cousin to the guard to the Lord." And he just starts kind of telling you like these very in a very dry, very aloof, kind of awkward way. He just says, "Yes, this is General. This is the second cousin to the Lord. His name is Labor. General Labor. His last name is Labor. He doesn't tell you what his first name is." Um, and he's just like, "Oh well, he's been stationed here for X Y." He just starts rambling it off, so you can cut it off at any point. But he just starts what information you want to know. I will let you know about that in the future here. But he just starts telling you anything you want to know about the general very factually. He says he points to the one who's right here. And I said, "I first he I kind of calm their emotions so they don't kill all of you, and then I just kind of put them under a suggestion spell and just just resume what you were doing before this." Oh, oh, no, and he says, "Oh, this is very rudimentary." Yes, in this very tense situation, we will cut over to Sway now, since you guys are speaking with the guard, getting general information, and then learning about magic. Sway, okay, you are not sleep yet. You had a very brief sleep. I would say if you need it, you can take a short rest, but I don't think you need it. So as Satoshi goes up and get Uzi, Uzi? Are you gonna come down? Okay. Sway, you fly out into the hall, out into the courtyard or the alleyway there. You don't really see anything. You kind of hear some noises coming out from uh, the hallway down one direction, but you don't really see anything in the dark here. Okay, you cast light, and in the uh, dark of this alleyway, down at the far end where you heard the noise, you see someone kind of just turn the corner. Okay, so you kind of run and follow and dash, and you see as you turn the corner, you see a sword on the ground, and this creature run off into the distance, much faster than you. You look at the sword. The sword does not have blood on it. The sword, besides being dropped on the ground, is in more or less pristine condition. Okay. So you try to follow after. Uh, okay. All right. So as you kind of follow after, um, before I do this, I'm gonna pull up one thing. And you have a total of 90 feet per round. Is that right? Okay. And you're gonna do all of that, I assume. And how fast is this thing? Do, 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 do. Okay. Okay. So, as you are coming up to it, it is running down on all fours, running past. Yes, it is running through the streets. Um, on the street itself, there are street lights, but it is running, not afraid of any light at all, just running through this barren street. It seems like it knows where the guards are and where they are not. Okay, you can go ahead and roll your attack. Okay. Okay, a 19 does hit. It knows you're there, so you're not going to get sneak attack, but you do hit it with 7. Let's see. Okay, so yes, it takes the damage, and you just hear a yelp, and it kind of stumbles and like looks back at you, but then just turns back and keeps running. You can't see a blood trail from where you are, but you. Yep. So this thing is off into the distance now, because since you had to stop and shoot, it runs off, and it does seem like there is some blood, but it is not red. It is sort of like a dark sort of blue, and it bleeds a little bit and then stops, and then bleeds a little bit again, but it's much less, and then stops, and then you lose the trail completely. Say that again. It's a little hard to hear you. Sorry about. So kind of like in the mind, you kind of go out into the alleyway, go out to the side, down the street. It is probably 250 feet, probably 300 feet from the inn. It goes pretty much straight, and then it turns one corner, and the blood trail goes across the street, like the little bit you see in the street, and then it's gone. You're about 300 feet from the inn. It is going not towards the center of town, but more out towards the gate. Okay. Okay, so you put some of the blood on the sword. Yeah, let me see here. You have an inventory. Hmm. Actually, when you were fighting the lycanthrope outside, you used a potion, didn't you? Like when you were fighting the tiger outside of town, the Chu Drow. Didn't you use a potion? Okay. Yeah, but did you use that potion? Okay. You have an empty vial then, because you have the potion jar. Okay. Yeah, so you can collect a sample of blood. It is a very dirty sample of blood. You have some dirt in the liquid, but yeah, you have a. You can, I guess, you can write down or put in your inventory or however you want to do it a small blue sample of blood or a small sample of blue blood. Okay. Okay. So, yep. So you can put in your inventory or write it down somewhere that you have a small vial of blue blood, dirty blue blood. He says this one is interesting. We have seen it only a couple times. The guests who seen it just kind of leave and they don't really come back. They don't really say anything other than they don't want anything to do with ghosts. It's kind of one of those personal fears. We haven't had any attacks or any trouble. This would be the first time we've heard of anything since I've worked here. The the what the ghost is infected or the ghost infected? Interesting. I've never heard of a ghost infecting a. Uh... oh, okay. Yeah, it seems very weird that the ghost. He kind of looks at Satoshi. He said the ghost knew exactly what room to go to. That's so mean. You guys are so mean. So the guy kind of just says, I've never. Uh, we've heard of the sightings, but I always thought it was something that was very, it's fun more than dangerous. It's very concerning. Yeah, that would be quite an issue. I don't. He just shakes his head and he's like, I can only imagine. I can only imagine that this place is gonna go on total lockdown tomorrow when they figure out a general is missing. He kind of the bartender shakes his head and he's like, uh, yeah, I don't know how if you're gonna be able to see the Lord this late at night. He kind of like looks at his watch. What's up? Yeah, and as he says, he kind of looks at his watch and he just says, "Yeah, it's. I mean, we're talking about it's 3 a.m. The Lord's not going to be able to see you right now." You kind of hold it up, and it is a great sword. All right, he takes it and he says, I'll make sure it gets back to the guards here. Um, what are you all gonna do? He kind of nods as you say that and walk over to the general's room. What are the rest of you gonna do? I think Sway went out to see the. Uh, okay, okay, okay. So let's do an investigation check in the room here. Okay, okay. So with these rolls, let's. You found some carpet. You found some very nice armor. And then we're gonna break here, and I'm gonna figure out what's in the room so Sway can use the bathroom here, and I will see what you guys find in this room. So let's take a 10-minute break here. Let's come back at 9:30 on the half-hour mark. So you willingly got possessed by a ghost. Yeah, I was hoping to kind of scare you with the ghost, but then you were just like, "Oh, let's do it." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go." Yeah, I thought it was funny. It was I was just like, okay, they're gonna rent a room, and then the ghost is gonna kind of scare him, and then Barthor's like, yeah, yeah. Barthor's like, I'm gonna literally stuff him in the closet. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't plan on that. Like, okay, yeah, you guys definitely flex my DM skills. I'm just like, all right, well, how could I have possibly thought of that? What could possibly be my answer to being stuffed in a closet? So in the room though, what are you looking for in the room specifically here? Yeah, I assume all of that with your role, but what are you looking for? Okay. 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 Sway, are you back? Okay. Is everyone back, Satoshi Uzi Barthor? Alright. He was waiting for those two there. So what are you guys doing while they're searching the room? Okay. Uzi, what are you doing? Uh, yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You went to the blacksmith the day before. Yep. So it's still another day before it's ready. Satoshi, are you here? Okay, perfect. So you dig around the room with your persuasion check, or your perception rather. Investigation. My God, I can. That break was too long for me. So you investigate the room. Sway is getting her stuff. Uzi, you're gonna get your stuff, or what are you doing? Okay. Barthor and Satoshi, as you guys investigate the room, you do see a single letter. You see a letter in the one of the drawers. Um, it is on top of, sorry, not on one of the drawers. It is on top of one of the bureaus, next to some other various jewelry, including a wedding band and just some other things like a gold coin. It says, the letter itself says, "My dearest Manuel, with sister gone, the loneliness overwhelms me. Uh, the curse on you and on this land brings me grief, and in the constant state of worry, I cannot fathom the dangers that you face in this distant war between the dragons. The grief has taken me, and I wish to rest again. Love, your dearest Sierra." And that's what the letter says. So, other than that, you find all of the general's gear, which, as you search this room, the guard is like right over your shoulder. But you see all the general's gear, all his equipment, all his armor, weapons, all his personal effects, and then you see this letter. After you collect your stuff, you come back down at the end of their investigation, and no, it's all good because it would only take you just a couple of minutes. You have very light stuff in your inventory. You guys come on down because I assume this takes them a good 10 minutes to search this room, and the guard says, "Oh, it's Sierra was the general's ex-wife. He found her one day after coming back from war, and in a very dry manner, he basically tells you that after one of his expeditions, he came back, found this note from his wife, and he found that she actually committed suicide in this room about two weeks before he came back. And the room that they found her was this room." He says, "Yes, it is. It is very tragic." So, what do you guys do? Okay. As you as you take the note and kind of put it in your pocket, and the guard says, "Please leave the personal effects of the general here. You should not be stealing the personal effects in a very dry way. You should not steal the personal effects of the general." All right. Do a persuasion check with advantage. Yeah, we're getting some pretty interesting rolls today. Getting very swingy, no middle. Persuasion with advantage. Oh, look at that! Look at that. So with a good 19, the guard kind of nods and just says, "Yes, you may use the note, but please bring the general back. The general is very dear to the kingdom," and he goes on about very dry about how great the general is. Okay. So Satoshi and Barthor, are you grabbing your stuff and leaving with them tonight? So you do know, Satoshi, that you were not personally asked this. This was a quest. This was given to you by the Adventurers Guild. Okay. All right. You guys pack your junk and you escape in the middle of the night. As you approach the um, main gate here, uh, the guards yell down to you, "Oi, citizens! It is very late. What brings you here this late at night?" All right. Do it. You guys can do a deception check, one each, or you can do, yeah, just do each deception check. And the guy kind of yells down and asks you, what is this hot lead? Where do you plan on going? You say that to the guard. This one, no. This is that same guard who yelled at that guard, though. He says, "Animal running through here." He kind of looks around. In town? Yeah, he asks you in town. He says, "No, I haven't heard anything. Have you heard of an animal on the loose? Do we need to pick up patrols?" All right, do a deception check though as well, Sway, with everyone here. Hey, there we go. He didn't roll a 9, he got a 10, but um, he says, uh, we'll take a look. You already rolled your deception. What are you doing? He says, "We'll take a look at the patrols here. We'll make sure nothing comes in or out of the town, at least until daylight. You, on the other hand, are you going back to Adalwulf?" He says, "Okay." He kind of looks over to the other guards, and he doesn't yell like they would during the day, but he just says, "All right, open the gate. Open the gate." And the gate kind of opens. It only opens probably 5 or 6 feet off the ground, whereas the gate itself is probably 20 feet tall, which it would be open during the day. So he kind of just raises it and he looks down at you guys and he says, "That's it. We're not going to open it the rest of the way." All right. He says, "Have a good night. Stay safe." All right, you guys are outside now, and the gate just slowly turns, not to make a loud noise, a loud bash to wake up all of the people who live right in this section. So they kind of slowly kind of grinds down behind you. He sounds so resigned to his position, like, "Oh, okay, I'll just be a club." All right, you guys begin your 8-ish hour trek back to the farm. So we can get my date thing here to make sure I actually keep you guys recorded. There we go. So you guys can do a d20. Okay. I think I'm missing one person. Who am I missing? Yep. Satoshi. Yep. I'm just kind of looking to see what happens in this 8-hour period here. GM roll 20. Okay. So as you guys are walking back to Adalwulf, that's the wrong thing. As you guys slowly make your way back here, you guys get to about the bridge area and roll another d20 here for me. Okay. As you guys approach the bridge, you do see on the bridge a similar sight that you saw before. You do see yellow wisps of balls of light going across the bridge. As you guys continue on your march here, and you get finally closer to the town, do one more d20. Need a d20 from Uzi, I think. Did Uzi die? Yep. It might not come through, or didn't come through before. There we go. Okay. Okay, you guys are able to get back to town. You do not see any creatures besides the yellow balls of light crossing the bridge. Although traveling in the darkness, with the woods and plains near you, you do hear much rustling and blowing of the winds, which with recent events keeps you on your toes the entire time through here. As you approach the town of Adalwulf, you do see that it is once again unusually guarded, um, similar to when you first arrived here after leaving the cave. You do walk up to one of the guards, or try to walk past the guards into town, and the guards will eventually stop you and just say, "Well, travelers, what brings you to town?" This is a guard. This is a guard that you would recognize. This is the captain of the guard, who is typically on the north side of the town. He says, "Yes, uh, it seems that a lot has happened. Did you see anything here on your way here this morning?" He's. You tell him about the will-o-wisps, Uzi. Okay. Okay. How do you do such a thing? He yeah, he kind of looks at you and kind of turns towards Sway, and he says, probably stop that." And he looks at Sway and he says, "Yes, we got word." He looks at his watch. He said about 4 hours ago that it seems that the general is missing. Say that again. In this, yes, because you are in still like a modern-ish setting. Um, so he did say, "Yes, we recently got word that the general is missing. It happened overnight. So you just on your way here this morning, you only saw will-o-wisps. You didn't see any." Okay. The which strange creature? Okay, so you tell him about the wolf, or do you tell him what you know about the general specifically, about what happened? Okay. Oh, so there was a. So you're saying that you were staying at the inn, and there was a wolf around Lupinfang. Interesting. He like pulls out a notebook and he starts writing it down. He asks you like, "Ooh, at what time did you see the wolf? And what did the wolf look like? And was the general with the wolf?" Interesting. Oh, interesting, interesting. And he kind of just writes it down and he says, "We'll take a note of that. Is there any other details you wish to give me?" He just says, uh, he says, we're great to have you with this investigation. You seem to be the most reliable ones so far. The ones that came last month to check up on the property damage, and the first group that came in to look at the murder, they're just non-existent. You guys are the only ones who are reliable, and we appreciate that. Oh, word came from the general to just round up some people in Adalwulf for tax evasion. Really, I don't know. It was very strange. It was very sudden. You say that to this guard. Okay, do a. Are you trying to intimidate him? What is your goal with that? Okay. He just says, "Yeah, it does seem odd. Trust me. It was very. There's special exemptions for this town. I don't know why these people would be just rounded up like that. I don't. I wait. Say that one more time. I didn't. Oh, it's not aware how much is owed. Yeah. Wait. What do you mean they don't know how much? Oh, yes. Well, yes, that is very odd. He just scratches his head. He's just like, on to think of it, the general just didn't say how much to ask for. They just said to arrest them. They didn't even give them a chance. Hmm. He says, "We'll have to," and he taps on his notebook and he says, "I'll have to do some digging about this. Are you planning on staying in an inn in town?" Yep. Yep, because you guys technically have one level of exhaustion, but I mean, you're going to go to bed and that's going to recover anyway. But so he says, "Yes, go down to the inn, not the tall one, but the other one, the uh, Lord. Fuck it, I can't remember. Can't believe I can't remember his name. Rottentooth." He says, "Lord Rottentooth is still in town, so go to the other inn. We'll set you up with a room, and don't worry about it since you're helping out here. We'll keep." He'll tap on his notebook again. "We'll keep that to ourselves, and we'll look into this." Okay. Are you guys gonna go to the inn? Any sort of detours? Satoshi, Barthor, Ozi? A regular club. Yep. And technically, if you left right now, you could go get it in time. But, but, so everyone go to the inn. You're gonna stay and chill at the inn. Not gonna do anything with the rest of your day or any plans. Okay. Okay. So you guys. Okay. Yep. And you did an autopsy, and you looked at the circle, and you very passively looked at the dead cow bones. Yep. So, just to take stock of what is going on, it is so far you guys have found that most of the activity was at the farm. Barthor knows from talking to um, um, some people. I can't remember if it was on the first session, second session, but when you guys were in the town, you do know that there was one guy in town who was with a party themselves who got lost in the woods, and they haven't seen him since. You do know that currently there is a noble in one of the inns here. You know the five people got arrested from the town. You know what two of them do. You do know that two of them are potion makers. You do know who the murderer person is. What did I miss here? Oh, you guys know that when you first started, this needed to be solved within a month, and at the end of the month, the Lord is gonna hold a party, a banquet, like a ball sort of thing, in the keep. A week and a half. Yep. Yeah, about 9 days from now. Okay. So you guys jump into the inn, and as you go to the inn, it's very typical inn, very raucous and rowdy. A lot of merchants, a lot of soldiers. They're as happy as they were the other time that you came in here, Barthor. And you rent a room. You show them your papers, and they give you a room free of charge. And is there anything else you guys wanted to do before going to bed? Speak now and forever hold your peace. And he says, "Oh, there's a whole bunch of things. There's that damn noble who won't leave, but damn it, it's making business so good. I love it." He says, "No, there was just same old guard presence, more adventurers just looking for the money, but it seems that all the guard presence they just are more wrapped up with why the people got arrested and more less of the murder. It seems like that's where all the money is for the new adventurers. It seems." Oh, I think they took off somewhere. I think they are looking around the trade routes, but they're kind of just interested on why the uh, those people got arrested. They're for very adamant for some reason. It seems like they came from. He'll tell you this country to the right on the map, Rarovo. He says, "Yeah, there's some ventures over there that came from that direction. Why they're so interested in these merchants are beyond me." He did say they weren't merchants, though; they're adventurers. But that's what he says. We definitely will. I tell you, did you were you able to find that wolf yet? I know the last time you were here, you were talking about going to catch that wolf, and uh, y- they think so. They think that the wolf that was around town is uh, that shopkeeper, the gunsmith. He says, "Oh, good, 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 good." But the beast is still out there. Oh, definitely will. I'll make sure to tell the patrons that you're on the case. All right, you have a good night, sir. All right, so you guys go up to your room. Final call. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay. All right. Everyone can do your long rest. Finally, Uzi finally gets his one spell slot back. Stupid bot. All right. Okay. So from after the rest, after your current rest, we are about 8 days out. So what do you guys do with this day? Heading towards the farm. Is everyone in agreeing that's what we're doing? Okay. Okay. You can go ahead and take whatever's from the player's handbook and just toss it in your inventory and make sure you deduct the gold. Okay. So everyone else, after you buy your oil, you head out to the farm. And if everyone can do a D20 here. We need a D20 from Uzi. Okay, perfect. You guys head to the farm. Maybe over aware of your surroundings. Traveling up to the farm, any sort of rustle in a bush kind of catches your attention now that you know what is out in the woods. Seems that as you travel across, that bushes rattle and you just look over and it's just a bunny leaping out. And then you travel along and you hear more bushes rattle and you realize it is just the wind. And you do finally make it out to the farm in the typical layout that you're used to. It is still just the two guards with the one supervisor. It is two new guards though, at least. They're different from the ones when you first arrived. But you are here on the farm. They greet you. They do all the personable things. Oh, who are you? Oh, okay. Show me your papers. Okay, it's good. I can verify who you are. If you need anything, we'll be here. Just ask. Sorry, say that again this way. Yeah, I think you guys do. Every set of guards, you kind of made fun of them, but they do say, "Oh no, it's been very quiet. The wolf that they report that was out here, we haven't seen him yet. We're just waiting for him." And he kind of taps his sword and he's like, "I just want to use my sword arm. You know what I mean? Kind of prove myself to the supervisor." Oh, silver for a wolf? No, we just take it and just put it in his shoulder blades, and he kind of describes how he would kill this wolf if he ever got near it. And he's like, "Oh, that's all you just need to do right there. Nothing to it." Oh, what doesn't look better with silver? He kind of nudges his buddy. He's like, "Yeah, I wish I had some more silver. I take my old lady out. Nice old dinner." So, So around the farm, like out, like over here and up here and stuff. So basically, so basically from the house, there is a trail that leads out that kind of goes down. From the farm here, this distance here is about, 100, 200, 300 feet. It is a very like long farm. I did just do a truncated drawing, but it's about 300 feet, north to south long wise, and it is about 100 feet wide. Around the farm itself, there is, let's see, the river is not close enough. No, it's not. So, about half a mile away is that river. So, if you do look up here, this map here, this river does go down and comes back out this way. So, you're about half a mile to a mile from the river. Other than that, it is to the north up here, it is woodlands. Back out here, there's a larger field that he could like develop more of his farm on, and then past that is a more kind of woodland area. Not like dense woods, but it's like a small forest here. And then from this direction out, on the side of the roads, it's sparse trees to make things look good around the farm. But the further out you go, it is just like just a trail, and it kind of goes through just kind of like just like not lowlands, but yeah, just like a field. Very very nothing special. Flatland, I guess that's what I was looking for. All right, we're looking north, south, east. What woods are you looking at? Okay. What are you looking for in particular? Okay. Okay. 1 second. Holding, holding, holding. So Barthor, you can do while this is happening. Sorry, go on. No, you could do that, and I will also say, don't forget as well, Sway and Barthor. You two have one semi cheat sheet or cheat. What do I want to say? Hint. You guys were talking to people late night in a tavern with some drunk people. With who was with Uzi that one day. They taken a liking to you, and you guys rolled a persuasion check with them, giving you a 20 and a 21. So you guys did speak with them about stuff of this area. So if you guys had one question each, I could answer either of those for you. And I think Satoshi had one somewhere as well. Satoshi and Uzi. So you can do the investigation as well. I can have Barthor. You can do a survival since that's what you're looking for. Satoshi, you can also do. No, Sway, you're looking for camps, so you can do a survival. Satoshi and Uzi, what are you guys looking for? Okay, Trax, you can do survival, and okay, okay, you can do a perception check then, or we'll say perception or nature. All right, Satoshi, you don't find Jack. Okay, and then Barthor was looking for tracks. Sway was looking for a campsite, and then Uzi looking for animals. So, Sway, you are kind of going through the forest. How long are you guys, before I give you any answers? How long are you going to take in this investigation, looking through the woods? Well, how long do you want to take? I get that part, but how long are you gonna search? 3 hours. Okay. Okay. In the 3 hour search, Sway, you do not find a campsite. Barthor, you do see animal tracks and trails. You do see with a 22. Yeah, I will say that on the map itself, where you guys are at, you're like down this direction on the southeastern part of town. So you do see a track coming like this direction from the north, coming down, and you do follow it, the reverse coming out, and you do see that it does kind of come out and around town. You can kind of see the track is, as you're going, you can follow it kind of curving back towards Adalwulf. And then Uzi, um, yes, you do find several animals, but nothing like werewolf-y. You find some deer, find some elk, you find some big old moose, bear, but mhm. You can definitely do that as well. So let's do this. I will say each of you, since we are missing something, I will give each of you, since you guys did persuade some locals, you talked to some, you guys did do some rolls. Oh, Satoshi was the graveyard person. You got a good roll with him. And then Barthor is just generally talks to everyone and loves everybody. So, what I'll say is, if you guys had one specific question that you think that you could have answered by speaking to someone in town, I will let you kind of answer or get an answer to that for free. Since we are like, it looks like we're kind of missing maybe one thing from what's going on. Everyone does get one. So you do know Birdbrain does refer to one of the nobles. It is Corvina Raventhorn. She is the one that you guys saw after leaving the cave with the entourage that arrested those 5 people. As far as you know, there is no one else named Raventhorn in the city. You do know it's just like basically her and her family, like her house. Just general kind of world knowledge. You would know that um, it is her, it is 2 kids, and it is a husband that is no longer around. People say could have passed away, but they haven't seen him in a while. They're nobles. They do shipping. They do land ownership. They have farms. They have that sort of situation. Say th- say that again. Yeah, he wasn't aware of that though, and I don't think anybody else would know that he was possessed or that he wanted to like hurt him. I don't think anybody thinks Satoshi would hurt him. Okay, well in that instance you were possessed. You were just like casually walking down the hall. So, Sway, Satoshi got a couple questions here. What is some of the missing information that you think that you can pick up from town that you think you're missing here that's kind of uh, confusing you guys or kind of stalling you out with what you're looking for here? And what about you, Uzi? What questions do you have? Yes, and you do know the situation. I think you. Yeah, I think the situation was Corvin doesn't believe that. Run with that, guys. Okay, so Barthor is saying the noble guy. Does he ever leave the inn, or does he sit in the tavern all the time? And the guards tell you that he does leave, but it's infrequently. So he's saying run with that. But so you do know because I think Corvin's situation when he was dealing with the guy in the gunsmith is that he wanted to save him because there is a way to cure the curse, as long as you're not born with it. So you can absolutely turn the guy in for the money, but what Corvin wanted to do is find a way to cure it, and then he also wants to know who attacked him to go to the source. And yep. So what info are you missing with that, Uzi? What are you thinking? Um, what do you want to know about that situation or about the town or um, what questions do you have about that? Hmm. You do know where he was though, and what the situation was. He was on the road because he was a merchant. He had an order in Lupinfang. He said he was going to fill the order, and he got in a disagreement with one of the nobles. And on his way back, he got attacked by a large wolf. The one that he got into a fight with. He. I'll take a look at that here in a second. But Sway, what were you saying before as well about something about how many nobles there were, or what were you thinking about? Uh, so all the nobles do like work and actually have like administrative jobs. They do are seen at like social events and all that kind of stuff. Barthor was asking about the guy specifically in this town who took up the inn and didn't let you guys stay there that one night. And he does leave, but it's infrequently. So he is seen around the town. So it's not like he's hiding like the gunsmith is, but it's more like he has a day job and then is coming out, working a half day and then coming around town and then going to like a lavish dinner or whatever and then doing. So the one that he got upset with the Lord, with Lord Lupinfang. Yet he had a disagreement about that. He also got into a disagreement with Corvina Raventhorn. So those are the two nobles that there were issues with. So what else are you guys thinking? Kind of what else do we think we're missing here? And there are certainly some leads. It's just what you guys want to do here. Mm-hmm. You guys have not yet, and you do know that generally uh, the nobles like Lord Lupinfang, he will just not see you because you need to get an audience. The lesser nobles, you will be able to see, like the guy in town, Corvina, um, and then some of the other nobles, you will be able to speak to those guys. It's just going up to the Lord that may not happen unless you kind of get an audience, get a good reason, all that kind of stuff. So, Satoshi, what were you saying about kind of leads? What are you thinking about? You said you were high. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep, and you do know with the mine, if you remember what was on the board outside the mine, there was that sign who said whose mine it was. That got closed down. Under it, it said it was closed by Corvina Raventhorn as well. So I think Satoshi too, like you're having good ideas. If this was a game more like Call of Cthulhu, like you would be like right on top of it. But I think you're kind of going too in depth and too like into the weeds into things. Um, I do think like you're kind of on the right path, but kind of doing like looking up the history of the town and the research of the mine, being only like a 10 to 14 session game, I think that is just uh, you're like on the right track, but you're going the wrong direction basically. Okay, we can definitely put that. I'm gonna. Yep. Okay. Okay, probably shouldn't burn. The noble doesn't own the tavern, so probably shouldn't burn the tavern down. But yeah, so let's do this as well. Is there any other questions that you guys are missing, or I mean, straight up, do you guys like want a hint? Because maybe I just written something in the session that I just either didn't think about or didn't know you guys need. So do you guys have like any sort of like, do you guys think that you're missing something, or kind of what's going on? Okay. What about Uzi and Sway? Do you guys kind of know where you're gonna go, or do you guys need more information, or okay? Yeah, which is what I'm probably gonna do is I'll probably say that you guys are still on the farm. This would be a good place to stop since Barthor just left, and then I can recap him next week. And then I have this. I recorded this session as well, um, so we can get Barthor and Corvin, get some ideas, answer any questions they have as well, and then we can go from there. Moving on. Come. Yeah. Hmm. Right. The noble in this town, he is unmarried. So this his name is Rotten Tooth is his last name, and he is unmarried. Okay. So you also would know for him as well. Uh, he is a bit older. Like I would say mid 40s going into 50s. I didn't give him a specific age, but he's kind of in that kind of age bracket. Um, and you guys, what I would say, because maybe I'm missing something and I didn't kind of put it in here to be more obvious, but it's like I think you guys know what you need to do, but you guys have maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't want to metagame this because I know Corvin said it too, but it's like, oh, I have an idea and I know about this, but I don't want to metagame it. Part of the reason why I name things the way I do and kind of doing that stuff is I want you guys to bring in a lot of metagame knowledge in. So I think you guys know that, okay, there's something up just based on what you guys are saying. You know something's up with the nobles, but literally no one went to talk to any of the nobles yet. So, mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And what we need to do as well for Satoshi, just uh, with your character as well, just bring it back like a little bit, because you're at like an 11 right now with your character. Just bring it back down to an 8, and let's go from there as well. Because I know with you, if I remember correctly, on your sheet, you have some good like charisma based skills. Because I think you're proficient in like everything. Yeah, yeah. So let's do this. It's like I think your character concept itself is holding you back from doing a lot of this stuff. So let's bring it back. Let's say kind of bring it down to an 8. And I think from there we will be able to even speak with the nobles themselves. Um, so I think you guys are on the right track. So we can end this as well. You guys are on the right track, but I think you guys are more worried about not wanting to metagame, and I think you guys really just want to talk to a noble, and you should just do that. I think as well. Mhm. Yeah, but I would say that would probably be your best bet. You're on the right track here. Let's talk to next session. Pick it up from you guys being in the woods, and then hopefully Corvin's back, and then we'll go from there. Going to talk to this noble in town. All right, and I did record it. I will put it up. So if you guys want to review it, I will give you guys a link in the chat here. So let's pick it up there next week. Excuse me, I'm so dry right now. So let's pick it up there next week, and we'll kind of get to talking to a noble, and let's go from there. So sorry for the bit of confusion there. So hopefully we can kind of get back on track here.